The year 2015 marks the centennial anniversary of the Armenian genocide. Armenians throughout the world will commemorate this special anniversary through events and programs to keep the light of justice and truth shining in the midst of darkness. Series of activities are also undertaken by the Armenian evangelical community of the United States. Recently, Armenian Missionary Association of America presented a lecture at the Armenian Presbyterian Church in Paramus, New Jersey, titled Hrant Dink, The Man, the Mission, the Martyrdom. The event began with opening remarks and prayer by Reverend Perch Guleyan, pastor of Armenian Presbyterian Church. Following the prayer, Mistress of Ceremony and AMAA board member Berchuhi Guliserian introduced main speaker of the evening, Zaven Khanjan, the executive director and CEO of the AMAA Eastern Region. Born and raised in Aleppo, Syria, Zaven Khanjan attended the American University of Beirut, Lebanon, in business administration. Soon after his graduation, he moved to the Persian Gulf and for 13 years worked in his profession, assuming top positions in prestigious companies. In 1979, Mr. Khanjan moved with his family to California. Over the years, he has been an active member of the greater Los Angeles community, serving in leadership capacities in the Armenian Fund, the Armenian Evangelical Union of North America, the Merdinian Armenian Evangelical School, and lately as the chairman of Syrian Armenian Relief Fund, raising over $1 million. Mr. Khanjan has contributed volumes of bilingual articles to American Armenian media and is the author of 3 Armenian books. Mr. Zaven Khanjan began his multimedia lecture by dedicating the evening to the memory of another Hrant, Hrant Guzelian.
I would like to dedicate this event tonight to the memory of another Hrant, Hrant Guzelian, Hrant Guzelian, the pioneer Armenian evangelical activist, director of the Children's Nest, Badanegandun, and the Tuzla camp, Camp Armen and Camp Armenuhi, of the Gedik Pasha Armenian Evangelical Church of Istanbul, Turkey, where hundreds of Armenian children, including Hrant Dink and Raquel Dink, rescued from Anatolia, took refuge. Hrant Guzelian passed away on October 6, 2007 in Marseille, France. On this subject, I'd like to say that our second event dedicated to the centennial will be a translation of a book written by Hrant Guzelian. His book was titled in Armenian Bolso Badaneganduna Mnatsortatsime Dun Tartsi Batmutyuna, the story of the remnants of the youth home of Istanbul, the story of the remnants homecoming. That the book covers the search and rescue efforts that Hrant Guzelian pioneered in the 1960s and 70s to rescue all those Armenian children, Islamized Armenian children from Anatolia, bringing them to Istanbul, one of the product of which are Raquel and Hrant Dink.
He then remembered his meeting with Hrant Dink, not long before his assassination.
My wife Sona and I came personally to know Hrant Dink in September 2006 during the 3rd Armenian Diaspora Armenia Conference in Yerevan. Imagine, this was hardly 4 months before he was assassinated, but it gave us ample time to forge a relationship, the memory of which will forever live with us. Most of what I know about Hrant comes from him directly, whether through our meetings and conversations, throughout pages of Agos, and or through the first-hand witnessing of those so close to him who loved, lived, and worked with him. I will start with an audio in Armenian, followed by the translated text of his own message from the pulpit of the United Armenian Congregationalist Church on Sunday morning, November 5, 2006.
Semur Avedarnagan Yegeretsin Pnav Anzanot Megchem, Kanivor Metzadzem Avedarnagan Yegeretsin Zoti Mech. İstanbul Gedikpaşa'yı avedarnagan mangant spuyni meç. Vor açamanak gıgara barber Baron Hrant küçük güzelyani govme. Yes yerek yekparnero Malatya'yın. Yegank İstanbul ye mıdank Gedikpaşa'yı hay avedarnagan yegetsin. Yes yotu daregani im bızdik yekparneres megahink iskmüyüsü yerek daregan. Yes on metsa yevim digines vor inknal Mardin'e yegats. Kırdatat hayerem ekner. Anal hon ini dareganin yes dasın şors dareganin miyasin irarcan tank hon metsank honamusna tank yev hon zavak nerone tank ait kempin meç kısanink darine ransan yev aç zamanak baron küçük güzelyanı unetsav Türkiye garavartyan et harcer yev pandargı betsav yev kempi mınat arantsin yegetsin mınat arantsin yes yev digines katink hon yev ıskısan kon aşka değil baron güzelyanin değı. Vorbesi yegetsin çikotsvi, vorbesi ait yegetsin gayummuna, yev vostigantunu yegetsin sert çıtına, kidek inçkıneyink, batveli alçer mınatsat, karoziç alçer mınatsat, ammen giragi yertayink yegetsi tırnaban muneyink, tırnabanı gınıster hon, diginiz gınıster, yerek zavakner ıskınısteyin, anon kıllayın jogovurt, yes kıllayı karoziç, kukayi hos avedarangı gartayı yegetsin turu patskı bayink. Darinero vayspesirink. Hima gışarına genk merbaykarı vorbesi Türkiye meç, bedutyan Antep. Cenşumu bertsine pokramasını tünleri vurayen, namanavan tayeru vurayen, yev mer iravunkneri yettamezi, mer galvazneri yettamezi, yev yes metsuysunim ormu, ait kempı, noren mertserken, vor arin menk irensme yet bidarnink ambayman yevanbayman.
Mr. Khanjan quoted Hrant Dink say, "I do not know how real these threats are, but what is really unbearable is the psychological torture that I'm living in. I'm just like a pigeon. I look around to my left and right, in front and behind me as much as it does. My head is just as active. But I also know that in this country they love pigeons and do not shoot them. Unfortunately, some extremist nationalists have proven him to be false."
On January 19, 2007, Hrant Dink, the Turkish-Armenian journalist, editor of Agos, a hero who had defied the Turkish taboo of silence on the subject of Armenian genocide, was gunned down on the streets of Istanbul. Several bullets unmistakably were fired at him at close range in front of the building that houses the offices of Agos. A Turkish teenager, a hired assassin named Ogun Samast, 17 years of age, had fired the shots. His masters, Raquel Dink would later call forces of darkness, otherwise known as deep state. The prominent British journalist, correspondent of the London Independent in the Middle East, Robert Fisk, described Hrant Dink as the 1,500,001st victim of the Armenian genocide.
Mr. Khanjan spoke about Hrant Dink's unyielding strength and determination in the face of threats to give voice to Armenian minority in Turkey and his courage to speak up openly about such topics as Armenian genocide.
The story of the Tuzla camp, its creation and seizure by the Turkish authorities, the childhood labor and the earthly heaven created there has left such a deep scar on the psyche of Hrant that went on to be the driving force in his struggle for justice, for fairness, freedom of expression, minority rights, and true democracy for all Turkish citizens under Turkish law. I said Turkish citizens. Hrant was a Turkish citizen. He defended his right of being one, a Turkish citizen.
Mr. Khanjan concluded his lecture on an optimistic note, stating that despite Hrant's tragic death, his voice continues to inspire the new generation of Armenians to stand up for basic principles of human rights and historical justice in Turkey.
I am optimistic that truth, goodwill, and the recognition of the crime will prevail. Hrant Dink is dead, but his voice will never be silenced.
Zaven Khanjan also presented a short film, Swallow's Nest, showing Hrant Dink at the Armenian Evangelical Tuzla.
Bizi aldı, Gedikpaşa'da Ermeni Protestan kilisesi vardı. O kilisenin altında da bir çocuk yuvası vardı. Oraya götürdü. Çünkü annem babam ayrılmışlardı ve ikisinde de kalamıyorduk. Sokakta kalıyorduk. Kışın bir sorun yok ama yazın kilisenin bahçesi küçücük beton bir bahçeydi. Bütün günümüz orada geçerdi. Kilise yönetimi ne yapalım da bu çocuklara yazın daha iyi imkanları olan şartlar yaratalım diye düşündüler. İstanbul'dan yaklaşık bir 100 kilometre uzaklıkta o zaman Tuzla'da bir arazi gidip satın aldılar. Bu araziyi Vakıflar Bölge Müdürlüğü'nden gidip yetki alarak, İstanbul Valiliğinden onay alarak satın aldılar ve gidip kilisenin adına tapusunu çıkardılar. İlk sene 13 çocuktu. Sonra 30 çocuk oldu. Bizi aldılar. Gedikpaşa'dan bir otobüse bindirdiler. Sirkeci'ye, Sirkeci'den vapurla Haydarpaşa'ya, Haydarpaşa'dan trenle Tuzla istasyonuna, Tuzla istasyonundan da yürüyerek, yürü babam, bir gölle bir denizin arasında bir arazinin ortasına. 65'li yıllardan itibaren geldim. Burası dümdüz bir araziydi esasında. Ve bu arazi üzerinde çadırlar kuruldu. Çadırlarda yatıp kalktık ve başladık. İlk işimiz elimizde kazma, kürek, şu gördüğünüz ağaçları dikmeye vuruyor. Fidanları kazdık, ettik. Her tarafa ağaç diktik. Her tarafa ağaç diktik. Sonra gittik, ileride size gösteririm, kocaman bir kuyu açtık orada. Kuyuyu açtıktan sonra o kuyunun suyuyla bu ağaçlarımızı, önce buralara hortum yoktu, kovalarla suladık. Daha sonra koca hortumlar da aldık, tulumba yaptık. O tulumbayı her gün çektik, suladık bunları ve buralar yemyeşil alanlar oldu, kocaman alanlar oldu. Ve sonuçta şimdi biraz sonra göstereceğim binayı inşa etmeye başladık. O gördüğünüz binayı da biz çocuklar inşa ettik. Sadece başımızda bir tane Hasan Usta vardı. İnşaatçıydı o, kalfa. Biz ona amelelik yaptık. Deniz kenarı buradan hemen hemen 500 metre uzaklıkta. Biz oradan sürekli elimizde teneke kutularla kum ve çakıl taşıdık inşaatı yapmak için. Yani kimimiz 7 yaşında, kimimiz 12 yaşında, 11 yaşında, hepimiz ilkokul öğrencileriydik çeşitli sınıflarda. Ve bu çocukların hemen hepsi Anadolu'dan İstanbul'a gelmiş, kimsesiz kalmış çocuklardı, Ermeni çocuklarıydı. Bir kısmı öksüz, bir kısmı yetim, bir kısmının ailesi vardı ama Anadolu'dan gelmişlerdi ve burada okumak zorundaydılar. Dolayısıyla kışın Gedikpaşa Ermeni Protestan Kilisesi'nin altındaki yuvada kalıyorlardı. Yazında artık buraya gelmeye başlamıştık. Burası bizim yazlık yuvamız olmuştu. Derken biz oraya cennet gibi bir mekan yaptık. Kaplumbağamız vardı bir tane. En sevdiğimiz yerdi bu bahçe. Çeşit çeşit çiçek vardı. Akşamları serinler otururduk. Şu gördüğümüz önümüzdeki boş alan da çocukların oyun alanıydı, oyun bahçesiydi. Onlar oynardı, ben de burada oturur, onları keyifle izlerdim. Çocuk sayısı yıldan yıla arttı. 20 yıl geçti aradan. Büyüdüğüm kampta yönetici oldum. Kampta birlikte büyüdüğüm kızlardan biriyle, benden küçük kızlardan biriyle evlendim. Benim çocuklarım oldu orada, 2 tane. 12 Eylül olmuştu. Çok çetrefilli günlerdi ve biz idare ediyorduk kampı. Ama ediyorduk. Çok kıt olanaklarla da idare ediyorduk. Ama bir gün bana bir mahkemeden bir kağıt geldi. Açtım baktım, aynen şu cümleler. Bu bir azınlık vakıflarının mülk edinme hakkı yoktur. Burası sehven elde edilmiştir. Eski kaydın ihyası talebiyle dava.
Thank you so much for this incredible lecture, multimedia lecture, I should say, because we had an opportunity to not only see a wonderful film, but actually hear Hrant Dink's voice, which I personally thought was very emotional. I have so many questions, but first of all, before every hero, there is actually a person that we tend to forget, that faces a daily struggle. When you met Hrant Dink, not unfortunately too long before his assassination, what kind of person was he?
Hrant Dink was a man of justice, and that did not only serve himself, serve the Armenians. I think his struggle was for mankind. His struggle was the society in Turkey. His struggle was for his neighbors, for his countrymen, both in Turkey and in Armenia. He was a passionate man. He loved justice. He experienced it. He experienced the denial of that justice in the seizure of the Tuzla camp, as we saw. And from there on, where he lived 28 years of his life, he built it and it was taken. For him, it was very easy to compare that with the nation, with the country, with Armenia and Armenians, how our country was taken, where it was seized. And so it was very easy for him to put that parallel, live it, love it passionately, and struggle for it.
We are, of course, in an evangelical church now, and you spoke about his connection to evangelical church. In your opinion, what did that have, what kind of role did it play in forming him as an individual and as an activist that he was?
Even though there was a lot of emphasis about the evangelical upbringing of Hrant Dink, even his identity card in Turkey said that. But I don't want to have the spotlight on that. The spotlight is on the Christianity, is on Christian values, that how strong one can be bearing and arming himself with Christian values. Hrant had the opportunity of arming himself with Christian values at the Gedik Pasha Armenian Evangelical Church, at the Tuzla Church. And that's how he had all the power, all the arms to resist, to fight, and to struggle.
He had an opportunity to leave Turkey. You spoke about him thinking about going to Armenia, even though he was against some of the issues that exist in Armenia up to today. But he certainly could have gone to America, he could have gone to Europe. There was a point in your lecture when you said a lot of people from diaspora in West criticize them, but clearly their life is a lot easier. Why didn't he leave?
I think after considering all the options, he came to the conclusion that he belonged to that land, that was his land, that was his country, that he had an ancestral history in that country, and that he belonged there, and that he decided to stay there and fight. And the fight was not only for himself, the fight was for Turkish society, was society at large. But the main thing is that he believed that his roots are in that land. And as both Raquel and Khosrov, his wife and his brother, witnessed at his trial and said that he strongly believed that his roots go far down, deep into Noah's time in that country. And that after considering the options which did not make sense to him, he decided to stay there and fight.
The end of your lecture, you closed on a very emotional note. You said Hrant Dink is dead, but his voice will continue to be alive and to carry on that struggle. What was his legacy, do you think?
He stood up for a nation. He stood up for a country. He stood up for a country who denied him, but he did not deny the people of that country. I think that justice, for the sake of the people of Turkey today, will be his legacy, because I believe one day Turkey will bow and recognize the genocide, and the people of Turkey, just like as we feel the pain, we will come to terms with history and find out and declare and recognize the Armenian genocide, and his legacy will partially, in that particular venue of struggle, of course, will be realized.
Thank you so much.